I was taking out some time going through the book here. It's called The Four Women That Men Desire by Sirwalterj. You know the guy? I know the guy is a good guy. It's called The Men's Chronicles, A Woman's Guide to Men. And this is volume number 1 of a 7-volume series. And in this first volume, I talk about the relationships that men have and why they choose the women that they choose. All right, I call them girl A, girl B, girl C, girl D. And that's Lola, Bella, and Phoebe and Lilith. I gave them names. And then in this book, I talk about a girl by the name of C7. And she's a brilliant woman. She's the woman of his dreams. I didn't give her an age. I didn't give her a color. But I did give her a characteristic. All right, and so I was going through here to try to figure out why is it that certain men choose certain women of a certain age. I'm in my 50s now, and would I be the guy who's interested in somebody who turned 18, 19? And if so, why? Do I look at it because of her skin, her body type, meaning, you know, the non-wrinkle, okay? I'm not saying that all women in my age got wrinkles, but is there some kind of pedo in me, philia in me somewhere in there, or do I just desire younger women and there's no sickness in me? Well, I want to talk about this man here, the bishop, and see if we can analyze this mentally as well as spiritually and socially to see if there is a pattern there with men who are in ministry, as we've been seeing. Oh, it didn't just happen, y'all. It's been going on for a long time. And we'll talk about this. Oh, I see in about 60. Bass.
It's the show that will get you thinking, and where the topics are hot. Feel free to comment whether we agree or not, 'cause he's got something to say. Sirwalterj. Sirwalterj. He's got something to say. Sirwalterj. Sirwalterj Show.
Come on in. The water's fine. Do. Hi. Hello, everybody. Sirwalterj Show. I'm he. It is the evening edition, baby. Come on in. The water's fine. Truth Rangers here. Ron is here. Cecilia, Jerry, and the Angel, and a whole bunch of y'all is here. Monica and Sharon Peters Ruff. I might quote from Sharon Peters Ruff tonight. Just a little bit. All right. I can't understand how some of you have forgotten. Probably forgotten. I know it's a different time and different place. Okay? A different mentality. We don't have the distractions. They didn't have the distractions that we have today with technology. All right? They had to rely on pages, the encyclopedia, book. No internet. No cell phone. No, none of that stuff. And so, I'm not saying that their lives were boring, but they just had a little more time to go outside and seek and devour. And they didn't have to go far because everything that they needed was in the church. So today, I'm going to talk about the grooming of a generation, because we've been seeing the grooming going on in you all's churches all your lives, and your father and your grandfather and your great-great-father saw it too, because they were victims of the groomatons. Right? The church have not turned into what it is today. The church have always been this way, and we were young and dumb. We just didn't understand that we were being groomed. We didn't know. I've seen it all my life. And as I got older and mature in the Lord, I realized that man was trying to groom me. That man right there successfully groomed me. He made a yes man out of me. Understand? So as you get older, you're seeing now how the churches are emptying out more so because people are coming into the knowledge of the truth of groomata, groomation. I did a couple shows about Todd Bridges, and I got new people who come on the show, and so I repeat stories. So bear with me if you heard it, but Todd Bridges did go on the Dr. Oz show, and he talked about how he too was groomed by a man in Hollywood. Hollywood is just like the church. Groom. Todd Bridges was a young man on that show, Different Strokes. Okay? The manager was grooming Todd for a little while because groomers are very patient like pimps. They're extremely patient. Devils and demons are, and Satan is they're very patient. We just think that they're just going to jump in and make a bunch of terror and tear up stuff and folks' necks are turning and exorcism things that y'all see. No, demons are smarter than that. They're very patient. And so is a pimp, and so is a pedophile and a predator. Very patient. And sometimes over years it would take them until they get you to a right climate, and then they jump in. You understand? And when you don't know the playbook of this predator, you won't understand that you're about to lose your children to them. So Todd Bridges was being groomed by this man, and he was taking good care of Todd and the family. But what the man was doing also was grooming Todd Bridges' father. You understand? The father. Not the mother, the father. And so finally the manager got Todd to a place where he can then start having sex with him. And Todd said it was normal. He assumed it was something that you were supposed to do. But he was told to never tell his parents. The typical predator response is, I'll do something to them if you tell. Understand? But with Todd, though, it was less of an assault or a threat, but more so, this is good for you. Keep this between me and you, and your career would really take off. You understand? And so what happens is Dana Plato, the actress who played the girl on the show, began to make advances to Todd Bridges. And they began to have sex. And this is coming out of Todd's mouth. All right, he's telling this story. They began to have sex, and then Todd realized that was natural. To insert himself into a woman was natural. He'd never felt that before, and he thought, something's not right. Kimberly, right? Kimberly, thank you, TJ. Something's not right. Because what I'm doing with her is natural. What this man is doing with me doesn't feel right. And he was alarmed and came to his senses. And so he talked about when they were all at home, Todd was at home, his mother was home, and the father was home. And the manager came into the door, knocked on the door, rang the bell or something like that. And the father opened up the door and let the manager in. Todd saw the manager come in, and he got startled. And then Todd says on the Dr. Oz show that the mother saw the expression on her son's face, and then she leaped at this manager and says, "How dare you?" Without saying a word, the mother knew. When I heard that story, I said, message. That's a spiritual message that I can preach for the rest of my life. The mother, without Todd saying a word, it was just this expression, and she knew that that man was funneling. her son. But the sad part about this is that the father then blocked the mother from attacking the manager, and the father began to speak up for the manager and said, this is a good man. He would not do this. He's done this for us. He's done this for that for us. And Todd said to the mama, see, that's exactly what the manager said that daddy would say. Groomed. The theory, the psychology, the art behind the groom needs to be taught to your children, and do it now. Because you all are focusing on the little foxes over here and over there. The groomer is the elephant in the room. He's the one that y'all praising every Sunday morning. He could be sitting on the organ, on the drums, the bass, lead guitar, the congas. He's the praise leader. He's the deacon. Or she could be the mother, the evangelist, the prophet, the apostle, the bishop, the teacher. Could be any of them. Your pastor, chief apostle, spontaneous prophet, I don't know. Could be any one of them. Pay close attention, have a keen eye, like Todd Bridges' mom. That who was that said that? St. Francis of Assisi said, preach the gospel and if need be, use words. Tap into your spirit, man, and you can see that something's not right. This is why when my daughter would come home from school, I would always ask her the hard questions, and she'd be like, oh, Daddy, why you ask me this question? Because I want to know, because if somebody is grooming you, I got a few words, I got a few questions I need to ask you, all right? First of all, let me show you where all of my insurance papers are. If I need to be bailed out of jail, here is the bank account information here. You understand? And here are all the important papers. Here's the key to the filing cabinet. You understand? Everything is here. All right, now, let me ask you this question. Are you okay? Yes. Has anybody done this? Has anybody done that? Has anybody said these words to you? Oh, I did that for years. What's going on? I want to know, because you're not going to tell me these things because I know how this works. I ask her the hard questions, and I can tell if she would lie. That's one thing I will say about my children. I know a lot of mothers will say, "That's not my child." They're not gonna lie. My son and daughter rarely ever did they ever deceive me or lie to me. I tested them too many times, and they would say. One time, my son, was it my son or my daughter? She lied, and then she right away, before me saying anything, she said, okay, you know what, no, she said, I'm not even going to lie, Dad. Now, she was probably, 14, 13. I'm not even going to lie. I did that. My son did the same thing. He tried to lie, and then he said, you know what, I ain't going to lie. Pops, I did that. Why? Why are they able to tell me the truth? Because there is a relationship I have with them. And God called Abraham friend. I am a friend of God. And lying to your friends ain't helping you whatsoever. So the relationship I have with my children is they knew that I was the father. They knew that I had the authority to shut everything down. But they also came to me because they felt that like I was a friend. Not the friend that some of you folks got in your children where they calling you by your first name. Oh, no, that ain't happening here in my house. All right? So you got to make sure you know what's going on, not just at school, but at that church. You worship there, and you don't even know that Deacon Bobo is sleeping with your daughter or your son. Ask the pertinent questions. Some of y'all are afraid of your children. They got a lock on their door, and all of the electronic technology of the world is in their bedrooms with a lock on it, and you ain't allowed to go in there. And they 9 and 10 years old. You set up that climate in your house. You don't talk to them. You don't ask them the hard questions. And then a 63-year-old man pops up on the scene. And your daughter said, Mama, I said yes. You said yes to what? Pastor. The mother was vehemently against this, but the father encouraged this bishop to do this. Why? Todd Bridges effect. Trying to help y'all here. In the 1990s, a young lady in a church I was working with, she might have been 13, 14, I think it was, would always look at me with these gleamy eyes while I'm up ministering. And she'd just be, mm-hmm. And after service, she would come to my office, and she'd say, oh, I enjoyed you today, and she was, telling me how much I was like a father figure to her. And I said, all right, bless you, young lady, bless you. And I embraced everybody. I always embrace folks. Every Sunday she looked at me with her gleamy eyes. And I said, oh, that's so cute. Look at her. And one Sunday after service, I'm in my office and she comes in. I always keep the door open. Always keep the door open, Pastor. Always, elder, keep your door open. Don't close your door with the young lady in the office. Don't do it. Don't do it. I don't care how much authority you think you have and people respect you. Never let your good be evil spoken with. Keep your doors open. You understand? So I kept the door open. And she came in and she hugged me. I hugged her back. And then she reached for items on my body that only a wife's supposed to reach for. And she went for the neck. And I quickly pushed her off me. And in like a second, it's like a vision of me being carried out of the church in handcuffs on my way down there to the county jail because I groped a 13-year-old. You see, they'll believe her, but they won't believe me. You understand? So I had to diffuse this young lady quickly and as passionately, compassionately as possible. I had to give her a teaching. I had to teach her a lesson immediately. I had to stop that immediately. Because those gleamy eyes, Sunday after Sunday, was leading up to something. Right, Tommy? Can you say jailbait? Oh, yeah. I was on my way down there to the jailhouse. And then forever I would have had a record on me. Sex offender. Forever. Mm-hmm. Yep. So I had to guard that and shut it down, Sister Sharon Peters. Shut it down immediately. What we've done in our churches, though, we have allowed little things to creep in. Again, the foxes. We allow the little things to creep in and creep in and creep in. Ignore it. That's all right. That's a cute. He's all right. He's learning. And then y'all's excuse is, at least they're doing it in the church. They could be doing it in the world. You are a fool. You are a fool. You are a fool's fool. You are the father and mother of fools. At least they're doing it in here. I had R. Kelly to come over to babysit. At least he did it in my house. I didn't want to bring my daughter to his house. At least in my house, we can at least watch over R. Kelly as he watched my kids. That's what y'all say when y'all say, at least they doing it here in the church. No respect of the house. No respect of the people that's in the house. More so, more respect of the people that's in the house than just the house itself. The house is just brick and mortar. But the anointing is in you, not in the brick and mortar. We have worshiped the building, and we have not taken heed to who the ecclesia is. You understand what I'm saying? So I had to shut that down. Old men like bishops going after young ladies is 100 or so year thing. They've been doing it forever. And when I saw the post of this man, this bishop, I said, I bet you he's apostolic. Soon as I saw his picture and that young lady sitting in his lap, I said, he's apostolic. And then when I saw Bishop Senegal, is that his name? And my brother Charles talk about it on the Clubhouse, and they told me where, and then I saw the change.org petition. I said, I knew it. He's apostolic. I knew it. Now, is that saying that Kojic ain't doing it? Shoot, Kojic taught the apostolics how to do that. Where do you think the apostolics come from? Listen, I fellowship with the Church of God in Christ, all right? And you best believe I get in trouble a lot, especially when I may say something that is negative towards the denomination. All right? I was looking at the history of our church. It's a great history. This man is Bishop C.H. Mason. And when you go down to his personal life, there are things that they didn't tell me about him on his personal life. I still think he was a good man. All right? But he married Alice Saxton, the daughter of his mother's friends. 2 years later, they divorced due to Saxton's disagreement over Mason's ministerial life. I got divorced for the same reason. I married an apostolic woman, and we fought in the house for the same reason. Y'all ain't gonna like today's show. He remarried years later. Now, they put this here in Wikipedia in a peculiar way. Very peculiar. Kojic made sure that they went to this Wikipedia page and made sure that Wikipedia didn't screw this up. Saxton would succumb to illness and die in 1904, a year after the death of his first wife. He courted and married Leela Washington in 1905. And to this union were born 7 children. All right. In 1943, after the death of his second wife, he married the third time. Who was that? Elsie Washington, who died in 2006. And then they stopped. They didn't say no ages. Yeah. No ages. They said leave that out. Am I in trouble yet? Huh? Huh? Am I in trouble yet? Huh? I want to know, okay, is there a trouble sign out there for me? All right, now, this is the change.org. Investigate 63-year-old pastor and school dean who married 18 to 19-year-old girl. All right, Apostolic Temple. Christ Apostolic Temple. They all got that name. All apostolic churches got Christ Apostolic in it. All right. Married his former student, who alleged counseling client and church member. Her name is Jordan, by the way. All right, Jordan Goodlett. Beginning in 2017, Reed returned to take over as pastor of Christ Apostolic. As the dean, the girl would have been 15, 16 years old at that time. Upon information and belief, it is through his role as pastor, school dean, and counselor that he gained an inroad to Jordan. He gained the inroad to her and began grooming her to later be brought into his service and control. We want to focus on the control part today. He was allegedly accused of similar unethical relationships with young girls in Shreveport, L.A., where he previously pastored. He have been married and divorced 3 times, with Jordan being his 4th wife. Although the marriage is legal, the breach of ethics and breach of fiduciary responsibility are not. This child was clearly groomed. Allegedly. We need your help. All right. This is the Des Moines District Attorney. Okay? I get it. So then I saw a young folks show yesterday on YouTube, and they had Denise on the show to talk about the life of Brother Bishop and how he spent some time in prison for his misconduct and thievery. Well, that should not hold over a man in his ministry, because I was not sentenced to jail, but I did steal before. So that should not follow a man forever. But sometimes you've got to tie in a man's past to what he might be still doing. So I see why it came up. The Jacob, the usurper, the trickster in him, they felt, Denise is saying, is there. That's how he got the church. His father, Jeremiah, told the church, do not let that boy pastor or lead this sanctuary, this church. Don't let him do it. This is from the family, said. Do not. Jeremiah, the father, said, don't do it. And so when you look at the bio of Dwight Reed, then you'll see some of the positions he held at his church. And you often you would ask yourself, why would they put those little bitty things in the bio? Why would they put those things in the bio? Here's his bio here. On behalf of the Apostolic Archives International Incorporated. Big name. Presiding Bishop Dwight Reed. All right? Trust me, Sunday he gonna preach about me. He gonna preach about me. He gonna say, this Sirwalterj Jones. He gonna turn into... I'm not even gonna do his voice. I'm not doing his voice. This Sir. Who is this Sir? You Chicago punk. Okay? Represents Christ Apostolic Temple Incorporated. Born 1958. Here's Bishop Jeremiah Reed right there. He gonna Gino you. Okay? Was baptized by his father and pastor. All right? Let's see. Graduated from the high school, and he got all these degrees. Master degree in theology. Okay. He was the assistant pastor for 20 years. Here's his duties. Sunday school superintendent, Sunday school teacher. Okay. Some of this stuff is like, why? Why didn't you even put that in there? Who puts a resume there together? And who puts van driver on your choir song leader, Devotional leader. Really? Are you being repaired? You just read it. Did you really need to fill in some white space on your resume? Huh? Baptizer. He was a baptizer. Okay, fundraising team leader. Okay. He was a prayer warrior. All right. I don't understand. Do that need to be on you a bishop? Should that be that? Okay. Somebody said, was it a white van, Jason? You know, you going straight to purgatory for that. Straight. Okay, wait. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. He was an altar call receiver. Can y'all help me out with this? Huh? Can y'all help me out? What's an altar call receiver? Huh? Did he catch the Holy Ghost and then give it back? Huh, Jason? Was he laying hands and say, let go, hold on, and then he caught it? He was a receiver. Was he a wide receiver? Huh? All right. He's an elder. He was the church chef. Man, this man did everything. I bet you he was the janitor too. He did everything. Counselor, preacher, and teacher. Wait a minute. Didn't you say that earlier? Wasn't he a superintendent, Sunday school teacher? Wasn't he? I don't understand. Why would you put all that in there? Vera said, are you making this up? This is on his bio. This is his bio. His ministry includes serving as a grant. Here it goes. Here goes his legal life. He's a grant writer for apostolic. There it is. Right there. I knew I'd find it in the mud. I knew I'd find it. I am Gold says, oh, he's Morgan Freeman. Yeah. Uh-huh. Wait, he did Meals on Wheels. Jason, hold my hand. We both going to purgatory together. All right? Bring some sandwiches. We're going to need it down there. And abstinence class. He served on the sick and shut-in home visitation committee. All right? The church board of directors. Maintenance. I told you he was a janitor. I told y'all. He was on the maintenance committee. In the late 1980s, he was director of the East Side Substance Abuse Center in Des Moines, Iowa. All right? All this right here could have saved me some time. He visited all the homes. Yeah, this man was a Jamaican. You got one job? Hey, you lazy lima bean. You got one job? You're just a lazy coconut. Me got 7 jobs. 7 jobs. This man got 20 jobs. In one church. All right? He moved to Shreveport. He went on and on. Okay? And now he's the pastor. I got 24 jobs. Yeah. All right? So I don't get it. Oh, he gonna preach about me come Sunday. Come Sunday. Y'all might want to turn on YouTube because I'm going to be the center of his sermons. He gonna be on the Gino Jennings show. Watch. Jenny gonna call him. Hello? Put that Dwight on the phone, please. I want to talk to him. We need to settle this score with that Sirwalterj Jones, Illinois punk. Put him on the phone now. I'll wait. Everybody was kung fu. Hello, Dwight, Reed, Gino. Listen. Listen. We need to shut Sirwalterj Jones down. Am I right? Am I right? Read it. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot where I was. I was going to tell you chapter and verse. I need you to come by the temple. Let's talk. We need to shut that Illinois punk down. Read what I... Oh, I forgot. Call me tonight at 9 p.m. Do it now. Am I right? Am I right? Oh, man. Okay, so this man now is over the school there at the church. They set up a school because they didn't want the kids to go to the public schools where it is inundated with homosexuals. So the church starts a school because the homosexuals is getting out of control. Y'all, listen. This is only the funny part. All right, the rest of the part ain't all that funny. But this right here, sometimes I look down at, and I know God sometimes is. My father used to beat me and laugh. Because he would laugh because it was hurting him, or he would laugh because he just, somebody could be so angry that they laugh. Listen, nigga. Listen. Ooh, that's my father. All right. So sometimes I gotta laugh because I don't want to cuss. All right. So now here is Bishop Dwight. In his own words, I'm gonna skip around. I'm gonna go to 5 minute, and then I'm gonna go to the 10 minute, and then he gonna bring up the homosexuals.
Come in here and give God some glory. On my father's birthday, and just something about it that today. Let me just get on out of here now. Why aren't you talking about that? Why aren't you talking about same-sex marriage? The Bible says that marriage is honorable. So, if you let the devil trick you, and then somebody talking about they agree because they was molested as a child. I didn't molest you. How you think all these kids love me? I am a protector of children.
How you think all these kids love me? They always around me. They're always in the office. I'm always at the playground. I'm always at the grammar school. I got hired to drive the bus. Them kids love me. They love me so much I married one. Let me stop.
Come in here and give God some glory. Mess with my wife, Jordan. Talking about what you gonna do if you see her. Well, you will see me on the news. Let me just tell you that right now. Talking about what you gonna do if you see her. You better walk by and say, praise the Lord. That's what you better do. Because that's my wife. And she grown. She didn't need nobody to sign no paperwork for her. Now, if this was out in the streets, y'all be saying she made a come up. But you a hypocrite. So don't you forget the Bible say marriage is honorable. And the Bible said when you find the wife, honey, you find favor with God, honey. I found some favor with God. And we sleeping good at night. Ain't nobody up all night worrying about all these crooks. But I felt I need to say that because somebody talking about what they're going to do if they see you. I'm telling you now, don't let the devil fool you. Because I ain't the one to play with. I get on the other side here.
Now, it's difficult to defend mess. The way of the transgressor is what? Can y'all tell me? This man, if he was in court, it would be extremely difficult for him to defend his case. Now, somebody said that when he went to prison, he became his own lawyer. And y'all know the old saying about a man who is his own counsel has a fool for counsel or something like that. All right. So he became a fool for himself. Heck, I've done that. And he got off. They let him go. And then he started to groom his niece said. He began to come around more because he was absent. No one knew where Uncle Dwight was until he realized that he wanted Daddy's church. And he knew Daddy's time was ticking. So he began to come back around and groom everybody in his presence. Now, that come from the family. That didn't come from Larry Reed or King Jives. All right, that came from a family member. All right. And then he found legal ways of getting the church, getting the house, and, after the death of his parents. And now here he is today. He have everything that he need, and, well, what he wanted even more was his wife, Jordan, that young lady, and obviously he was grooming her because he said he had been waiting for her for a long time. Hold up. If she's 18 and you've been waiting for her for a long time, that means she was a minor when you was waiting for her. And now you all are pregnant. All right. Sometimes you got to do this to find out what was going on, to figure it out. Most people believe that he impregnated her and then he knew that he was in trouble, and so he had to go through with the wedding. She did not want to do the wedding. She stayed home. She tried to escape from him. The niece is telling this story that on the wedding day, she tried to hide from him. And somebody told her to turn your phone off because he kept calling because he was waiting for her to show up. She was fearful. She was afraid. And it was her father in whom he groomed, the Todd Bridges effect. The father encouraged the daughter to go through with it. And so that's why you see the picture of the father marching her down the aisle. This is a perfect example of how manipulation works in our churches. You all need to look at this as a case study to how and how not to. Because many of you have been groomed by your pastors and you didn't know it. It doesn't matter how old you are. It matters how feeble-minded you are. You understand? how feeble-minded you are. So when you're not in the scriptures, unfortunately, many of you have been drinking, but you're able, the man or the woman who's ever over that church is able to do a Jim Jones on you easily. That's why I say the Antichrist will come and easily come in. You're going to open the door and say, come in, you're going to be my pastor. That's why he's going to be sitting in the rebuilt temple that the Jews built. The Antichrist is going to sit there and say, I am the Lord. How in the world can one man do that when right now they're fighting over in the Palestinian area and the Jerusalem area over one piece of land? The Jews and the Muslims are fighting over one little plot of land, and they can't cross over. You can't even go over there and touch certain things. That's how protected it is by laws over there. It's protected. One man is going to be born. He's going to wake up. He's going to look around and see the pettiness of these people, and he's going to literally walk in and sit in a territory that is right now riddled with rumors, wars and rumors of wars. He's going to walk in while they done tore down their walls and took and beat their weapons into plowshares. And they're just going to sit down and they're going to worship him. How is that possible? All he got to do is look at the American church. It's easy. He was her counselor when she was around 15, when she needed counseling over her parents' divorce. So he counseled her. How many times have you seen counselors? Your wife is seeing a counselor because she wants help for y'all's marriage, and the counselor is like, what's the movie? Stella got her groove back. What's a pretty girl like you doing over here? You gonna let my hand fall off? That's all it needs is the right counselor to say, oh, come in, baby, come in. Now, the Lord loves you. You sure smell good. And before you know it, she go back home and say, baby, I'm done. I thought I wanted this marriage, but I feel that the Lord is telling me divorce. She pack up or she kick him out, and then the counselor move into your house. This is how it happens. Why? Little foxes. Oh, this is paperwork here, y'all. This is textbook groomation. Textbook. I spotted it right away. I seen this too much. It's old. It's the old textbook. It's the old pimp. Pimping ain't easy, but it's necessary. That what the pimp told me. So let's look at some of these articles, because this happened in Hollywood as well, y'all. Come on, Community Advocate Network. Classical case. It's a classic case, y'all. Why y'all so surprised? You know how many Kojic bishops got young girls right now, they call their wives? The bishop is 70, 80 years old. The wife done died, or the wife done finally died. Hear me. This is why I'm the most hated man. That's why I stay in the bunker. It's unsafe for me to leave the confounds of the bunker. I've had bishops to tell me, I don't know why they feel like they need to bounce stuff off of me. Why y'all want to bounce stuff off of me? I've literally had them to tell me, that girl right there, that woman right there, this ooh, 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 ooh. And he pointing at the youth choir. He pointing at the kids choir. Oh yeah. And a bishop told me, I wish that we could do polygamy. No, what he told me was, he says, I love my wife. He says, I thank God for her. She's been this, she's been that, she's been that. He says, but I wish I was allowed to have another woman on the other side of town. He said, I wish the Lord would allow that. Because she says, I love my wife, but she drives me crazy. If I can just go on the other side of town and relieve my pressure, I'd come back home to my wife. You see, so a lot of women don't understand this concept. When a man goes and get a young girl, 30, 40, 50 years younger than him, okay, it's not always about what you think it is. There's a plethora of things that are going on in his mind. He wants stability. He do want someone that he can relate to in social issues. He can't relate with that kid socially, but he can relate with her physically and sexually. Understand? And she's good for his ego. All that stuff, all right? But he will stay with his wife, which is around his age, and he go outside and play and come back home to his wife. He wants the best of both worlds. When the wife die, he don't want to start over with another one like his wife, because he groomed his wife, all right? So he settles for the young girl. So many bishops in the church, when their wives die, you know good and well what's going to happen. He going to go down there to the youth choir and he going to find him a 21, at least 21. He's going to try to find a 21-year-old and go above. He usually don't go to 18 years old. This Dwight Reed guy only went with the 18-year-old because he had been grooming her, and that was his property, and he had invested in that already. So he figured, I'm raising her, I might as well marry what I've been raising. Y'all ain't liking this show. I know you ain't. It's 400 of y'all here right now, and at least half of you ain't liking this show. You ask me if I care. Or ask me if I care. All right here, famous men who married much younger women. This happens in Hollywood all the time. Jerry Seinfeld. Look at that age. He got him 28. Got him at 28. Oh, this is common. Alec Baldwin. She 27. That's what they do, y'all. Look at these. Okay, my pictures are gone now. For some reason, the pictures left. I had a whole bunch of pictures here. I got to go back and find out why those pictures went away. All right, it's a whole bunch of them there. Let me see. Can I put it back over here? Did I save that? Did I save it? Let me see. Because I want y'all to see something. Google. Famous, let's see, did I type that in? Famous men who married young. Yeah, right there. All right, let's see if it'll show up here. All right. Harrison Ford, 38. Michael Fassbender, 29. Look at that. Steve Martin. All right, he went up to 36. He got him an old lady. Larry King. Look at that. Clint Eastwood got him a 31-year-old. Nelson Mandela got it. Look, at least she was 53. All right. Kelsey Grammer, 31. Woody Allen, very famous. Y'all know how old she was. She was 19. He was 56. Sylvester Stallone, 29. Hugh Hefner, 26. Frank Sinatra, 21. Paul McCartney. All right. Oh, it goes on until all of the ads pop up. Michael Douglas. Oh, we knew. 31. Yeah, John Cleese got him a young thing. Rupert Murdoch, look at that, 30. Billy Joel, 23. Lord have mercy. Anthony Hopkins, 47. Oh, this is typical. Okay, it goes on and on and on. All right. Elvis Presley. How old was what's her face? Look at Jerry Lee Lewis. And I think they were related. Wasn't that his cousin? And what about the mayor of New York, Rudy Giuliani? Robert Kraft. All right. Ronald Isley married a 30-year-old. He was over 70. This is the church just looking out in the world and say, if they could do it, so can we. Marsha, she was 14. Oh, this is typical. Okay. Now, here's one that said 10 reasons why older men like younger women. 10 reasons. Priscilla was 14 and Elvis was 24. And they hid that thing. They kind of squashed that thing. They were like, shh, he ain't nothing but a hound dog. Crying all the time. All right. This is 10 reasons why older men like younger women. Okay. Number 1, she thinks he's better in bed. This is the mentality here. Number 2, he may be going through a midlife crisis. Number 3, for most men, young women are more beautiful than middle-aged women. Now that's a fight right there. Number 4, he may not be interested in anything in the long run. That's true. Who was that said about Woody Allen? Married his stepdaughter. Yeah, Rhonda. Jerry Lee Lewis married his young cousin. Number 5, men want what they can't get. Young women prefer experience. Young women demand less. Young women are preoccupied with many other things as well. He don't want to be babysitting. Maybe he's looking for someone he can control. Do y'all think that's the case with Dwight? Even the niece was like, well, I don't even call him uncle no more. We don't even call him uncle. We call him Dwight. Jay-Z is about 15 years older than Beyonce. And we know what R. Kelly did when he married, is it Aaliyah? What's her name? All right. She flatters his ego. Okay. Right here it says why older men like younger women, even when you're a much better match. There was something I wanted to bring out in this. What was it? It was something that I wanted to bring. I'm not going to read all of this, but there was something that I thought was very interesting. Most single women in their 30s and 40s are sick and tired of guys their age dating younger girls. How many of us can relate to being dumped by a guy who said he wasn't ready, only to find out that he proposed to someone else, someone younger? This happens a lot. He tired of you. There's something mentally going on. So many women are fed up with guys who keep getting older but never stop dating 25-year-olds. All right, what they saying here? Why do older men like younger women instead of young? You would think that a 45-year-old man would want a relationship with a woman at least somewhat his age. Wouldn't they want someone who has a similar life experience, who has some maturity and similar levels of intellectual development? But much of the time, they don't seem to. Research shows that at all ages, women prefer men who are close to them in age. Women prefer the ones that are close to them in age, while the men, the ideal age of women, for women, remains 22 years old. What I tell y'all? 22. So when I went down that list of Hollywood folks, notice you kept seeing the mid-20s, 20s. And I said earlier before I started reading this stuff that 21 is that starting age for a lot of Kojic apostolic bishops. They start at 21. There seems to be no clearly agreed upon reason why this is the case. That's why I said it is case by case. That's right, Angel, the Peter Pan syndrome. Some believe men's preference for younger women is a evolutionary strategy that attracts males to, and here it is right here, partners who are highly fertile. This has been the defense for many years, and for people who studied science and psychology and sociology, it's all about the biological structure, the fertility, the ability to be able to have my children. Even if he don't want to have children, it is something that's scientific in us, innate in us, in our DNA and structure, an instinct that we find the ones that we feel can carry the child, even if we don't want it. This is how science is coming up with the conclusion. And Dwight Reed wanted a child. That's what his niece said. He wanted a son who could carry on the name. That's what she said. And because women tend to live longer than men and become their caregivers, Stockholm University, blah, 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 says attraction to younger women may be due to the fact that marrying a younger woman extends a man's life, while it does the opposite for a spouse. Lord help, Sharon said. Still, others believe the issue is more about power imbalance, asserting that the difference in preferred age for the partner is the product of societally determined gender roles. Yep. Well, look what it's saying here. In a society based on the model of male breadwinner, female homemaker, women will seek out a man whose economic resources make him a good provider, and men will seek out a woman whose pliability and readiness for reproduction makes her a good wife. And he don't realize that's what's happening in him. It's instinct. 4 questions about older men, man, younger women relationship. 4 questions. Why would an older man want to date a younger woman? They ask. These are the questions that women would ask. Number 2, what are some disadvantages of an older man or woman? All right, we see the disadvantage. Number 3, does age really matter? All right. Number 4, where can I meet an older man? These are typical questions. Let me just read one. Does age really matter? Age can be a major factor in relationships, or it can be as minor as you make it. The choice is typically up to you and your partner. If you've never been in an older man, younger woman relationship, be cautious. Think about the consequences and the advantages. Decide the attributes that are really important to you in the person that you date. If you feel that the age difference will be a factor and you can't overcome the feeling, it's likely that you will feel the same way even after getting into the relationship. Makes sense to me. Be careful. Now, as you can tell, these were written by secular publications in the secular mind. But the question came on my wall about age. Is not age just a number? Now, Sharon Ruff, Pastor Sharon Peter Ruff, did tag me in a post that she made. I think it was yesterday. I didn't even see the post when I posted mine today, because I made a joke today, said I was going to marry an 18-year-old, and isn't age just a number? Isn't marriage honored by God? Okay. I didn't even see her post. She tagged me in hers, and I read it, and I thought, yeah, I want to read that tonight. I want to read that. All right. Now, here's what Sharon Ruff said. Okay, install it. Hold on. Remind me later. Yeah, don't install nothing while I'm online. Don't do nothing. I don't. When your computer starts saying, "Do you want us to install this right now?" No, do not install nothing. I'm online. How you gonna break in a meeting talking about some dude? My my former wife did that one time. I have to remember when I'm talking to a general audience. She wanted me to come home so bad. She did not want me at this group rehearsal that I set up. She wanted me to come home so bad. So she drove. Did she drive? And then she drove to the rehearsal. Came in there while I was rehearsing with the group. She came right up there while I was giving the sopranos their note. I saw her walk in. She came right up to me and she said, "Baby, can you come home?" I said, "There's a million people here. I'm trying to." She said, the toilet is stopped up. She said the toilet is stopped up. Excuse me? Yes, the toilet is stopped up. I said, "You serious?" And the sopranos are still holding their note. And they choking, they turning red. I said, "The toilet is..." Yeah, the baby threw something down there and I can't get it, I can't plunge it, and it stopped up. Oh, soprano, stop. Stop. I said, okay, baby, I'll be there right after rehearsal. No, you gotta come now. Yeah, I said, poor baby, she want me to come home. Now, why did I bring that story up? We were young, first of all. We were young, and she was the bride of my youth. All right, Sharon, she was the bride of my youth. And she didn't know how to share me yet. You understand? So she said, "The toilet is flooded. Come home." And you know what I did? I shut that rehearsal down with the quickness. I shut it down, Brown Park. I shut it down. I said, we got an emergency at the house, y'all. Emergency. It's a flood of things. It's a flood of things. All right, Ella Jones, you want us to come back? Yeah, come back next week. Oh, because of the computer. Thank you. The computer wants me to update right in the middle of class. And if I update, the show is over. Archer said, "Smart man." Come on, Pointer. Shut it down. Jason, you already in hell, man. You already there. And how'd you get there before I got there? I told you to hold my hand. Here's what Sharon said. She said, "My morning thought. If age is just a number, ignore the progression of that number when your cell phone ages. And do not get an upgrade. Likewise, do not trade in your car." I need to play my piano while I'm reading this. I wish my piano was ready because I'd play this. She said, "And do not get an upgrade. Likewise, do not trade in your car ever as it gets older." She says, just keep expecting its some performance. Wine is said to be finer as it is allowed to age. Ooh, Sharon. You know, now me and Sharon, now we disagree. We disagree on stuff. Well, we be fighting. Oh man, I hit her. I hit her in the nose, and she'll hit me in the chin, and my teeth fall out, and then I hit her in the back of the head. Okay, and then when we're done, we go have some coffee, talk about how much we love each other. That's me and Sharon. All right, right here though. Ooh, I can hear the violins play. She said, where am I? She says, why? She says, therefore, I think to say that age, whether young or old, does not matter, is not true, and lends to falsity, and does not promote proper understanding of the younger or the age. Age very much matters, she said. Paul said it like this: when I was a child, I spoke. She sound like me. Sharon, you sound like me. I spoke as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. 1 Corinthians 13:11. She said, if age didn't matter, Paul could have kept speaking and understanding in a childish way even though he was a man. I wonder how would that had affected him as a man if he did not put away childish. Ooh, to the weak. Hold up. I feel like I'm preaching this. I feel it's the inspiration coming from my undergarments. I feel inspiration. I will tell you this: he would not have matured to understanding the things of God, nor be the scholar of God's word as we know him to be. Oh, there's more, y'all. There's much more. Much more. Okay? She said, with the progression of age, experience is usually gained with the progression of time. Or now she's a scientist. Now she's a scientist. The progression of life yields more experience of life after availing wisdom not gained early in life. Oh, now she's a philosopher. She's getting on my nerve. This by no means insinuates that the young in years should be despised in any way, for many have the strength that the progression of years has not taken from them yet. Ooh, that was almost brilliant. Right there. I'm going to give you a 1 for that one. For their years of living has been few. The young in years must see their need for time to mature and gain some experience that often yields credibility that others must respect. Girl, I didn't know you had this gift. I ain't know. I'm fighting with a giant. I ain't know you was Goliath. I ain't know. All right, here's another paragraph. She said, I believe the age of the young and the old must be respected and understood by both and by us as well. She's a good writer. She's a good writer. I haven't seen a typo just yet. I'm looking for it. It's got to come. It's got to come. Because saints can't write. It's got to come. I personally can understand the age of the young that promotes its adventurous nature, immaturity, with its willingness to take risks, even being more open to failure than the age, because the young sees opportunity to be able to try it again and succeed, for their success is wrapped up in what? Time. And she capitalized Time. I see what you did. I see what you, hold up. I feel like Pastor now. I feel like Pastor who just preached. He preached during Sunday school. He preached the morning service. It's now the afternoon service. You know how they do. Come. Now, watch this. Turn. Luke 19 and 19. He got all handkerchiefs everywhere. And then the armor bearers come and they put a towel around his neck. He look like he going to the... He look like he at LA Fitness. He down there in the room with all of the smoke. What's that room with all the smoke, y'all? She said, I proof over and over. Come on. All right. Then she said, watch this. She said, whereas now she's a legalologist. Whereas the first party of the second party, the aged one may not see time as being on their side because they have utilized so much time in their living thus far. I got one more paragraph to read, y'all. I'm hoping she dropped the bomb because I ain't read all of it. I ain't have time. Oh, the sauna room? The preacher be like he in the sauna room. All right? She got one more paragraph and a half. Let's see if she dropped this bomb. A drum roll, please. In every salesman got a good close. Sharon, you better close this because I spent some time on this. Here we go. In any event, age is not just a number, but it is an indicator, not to be used as a barrier either way, but it does serve as a gauge in some areas of life. No one in their right mind would license a 10-year-old to drive a vehicle, even if they can actually drive. Okay. Likewise, no one expects a 100-year-old to run a marathon, which is why we highly esteem such a one above others when someone at that age does run a marathon. Can you see this? What? She closing this thing. I hear her tuning up. Dinah, I hear her tuning. She got one more sentence here. And here's what she said. Age bears with it natural expectations. See, maybe even some natural limitations, yet many of varying ages. For exceed the expectations of many. So again, I say, age is not just a number. It is instead so much more. Can somebody say, good morning, good morning? Because she put GM there. This was a good morning call, y'all. I'm impressed. How much tissue do I got in my body? I'm impressed. Listen, you did that thing, girl. You hooked that sermon up. Then he said, quit, I'm hurting. Girl, you hooked that up. Highly impressed. All right? And I get it. Age is a number to be considered. It's a number to be considered. Why? Because I done raised a couple kids, y'all, and I've got adopted children that I have too. Let me tell you, I find it nasty. I find it. You know who was that King Agrippa? Not King Agrippa. Pontius Pilate. Is that what him? He said, I find no fault in him. Well, I find it nasty. I find it nasty that a man of that age would want someone that young. I find it deplorable. It took me an hour, and how long I've been on this thing? Almost an hour and a half to get to that point. I find it nasty. Now, is that woman grown? Yes. She's 18. He even said it in the thing. He said she's grown. I don't know if I played that far. He said she's grown. She didn't have to get anybody to sign her name. She signed her own name on the on the marriage certificate. All right. So that's his excuse that we're legal. Marriage is honorable. I find it deplorable. You is nasty to take a little girl like that who's still blossoming and coming into whatever. I don't care what my parents, grandparents, great-grandparents did in the South back in the day when they was marrying at 12, 13, 14. I don't care if mother married, if mother of Jesus was 13, 14, whatever. I don't care. I find it deplorable and nasty, and TJ said trifling, that you can't find somebody close to your age. Right up in here. Are you afraid? Are you intimidated by the women that age? Or is it about control? That's what it's about. control. Period. Control. If you can't find in that whole church, in that whole city, in that whole state, or go cross state, find nobody within that boundaries of your ageology, you's nasty. You groomed somebody, you raised them up, you knew what you was getting, you married it. Which makes people suspicious of you. They're suspicious of you. So, you are going to go down in history now as being the nasty man who married an 18-year-old girl. Do you understand what I'm saying? Every time I think about the movie director who married his stepdaughter, who was a teenager, when she was, 19? Every time we talk about everybody who mentions his name, always look at him being a pedophile. I don't think y'all understand this. Every time they think about Woody Allen, they think about the little girl. Well, she ain't little no more, but they think about they don't think about his great movies that we've all went to go see, or we see it on our TV today. He's a great producer, writer. But whenever his name come up in anybody's arena, it always go back to the Asian girl. So, Bishop, every time your name come up, it won't be for the great work you did in the community. It won't be for that great school that you took on from your father. It won't be for the great sermons that you preached on Sunday morning. It won't be for your social work. It won't be for how much you raised for Africa and Ukraine. It won't be for your oratorial ways and your associate and master's degree in divinity. It won't be for any of that. It's gonna be, that's the man. And there's gonna be a whole bunch of adjectives added, who married that little girl. And they're gonna give you a name and give Jordan a name. That's your legacy. Ain't no way in heck ain't no way in heck would I have made a move like that at that age. When all that beautiful, could you not find a beautiful vixen in your town that's your age? Huh? Could you not? Abraham went to God and said, if there's just 10, if I can find 10, would you spare the city? Could not you went to the Lord and say, Lord, now God, now Lord, however you want to say. You can call him Adonai, Elohim, Jehovah, whatever. Call him whatever you feel like calling him. All right? Couldn't you just say, now God, I'm an old man. And I can't say old because 63 ain't old, y'all. So y'all stop calling that man old. Because, just a few more days, just a few more days, I'm going to be looking at that, okay? All right, so I'm an older man. Mm-hmm. Bishop McNasty. Right? Couldn't you say, now, Lord, all my plumbing is working. When I turn on the faucet, it works. It works. Pipes, everything. Great. I do maintenance. I go to the hospital, the doctor. I do my maintenance. Everything's great. Okay? And I wanted to continue to work. So, can you lead me, guide me along the way to a woman around the circumference of my age. Give a little 3 or 4 years, that's fine. I'm good with that. Who could satisfy all my needs according to your will and purpose, so that all my plumbing can continue to operate until you shut it off, until you go down there in the basement and do the shut-off valve and just shut it and put a padlock on the plumbing. Until that time, I flow. But yet you look down the pipeline in your kindergarten room. You went down to St. Mary's Grammar School and you found you Talitha Kumi. All right, y'all, I gotta go. Carla Thomas. Where you been, girl? Oh, nasty dog. You know his early friends are patting him on the. I know. All right, question time, y'all. I got how many minutes? About 3 minutes. Questions and answers. Let's see. Somebody asked a question today. I'll answer it right quick. And tomorrow is university time, y'all. If you sign up for my university class, free of charge. It is tomorrow night. Be there. You Bunker family, I need you to be there. 7 p.m. I think you better come early. You remember what happened last time? You got locked out. Wasn't my fault. You got locked out, dog. Okay. I want to thank you for allowing the Lord to use you. Nowadays, everyone is talking about going back to church building and forsake not the assemblies of yourselves. You hit me in the heart with that one. My concern is I don't want to be manipulated. Okay. Told off. Listen to misquoted texts and just plain old emotional church anymore. Oh my lucky stars. I'm done with that. But I've been done, they said. But now more than ever. All right. The Lord showed me a lot through the pandemic, and I just don't want to go back to that. All right, then. I love Jesus with all my heart. Never stop praying, reading my Bible, or fasting. So my salvation is definitely not centered around the pastor of the church. That's good. Good stuff. Good stuff. It has been difficult to find a church that teach what you are giving us. Oh, they're out there. Trust me. Where do you think I got it from? Not only that everything is so emotional, not only that everything is so emotional, is what she's saying. It don't seem like just Jesus is getting credit for anything. Okay, true. So what is your take on going back to the building? That's a big question. I'll give you a small answer. Don't go back. Don't go back. Until what? You can fill in the blank right there. Don't go back. ... Until. What do I mean by that? The until, after the until could mean until nothing happens or until something happens. Don't go back until you heard from God. And if God said don't go back, you stay not go back. Don't go back until. See, what you're doing right now is the right thing. You are not staying home and wasting your time on Netflix and chill. You are getting into the Word. You're part of the bunkers. All right? You are going to the university, the class that we're holding. You have other YouTube inspirational teachers out there. I know I'm not the only one. All right? Who's teaching you the Word of God. All right? The whole one man plant, the other man waters, God makes the increase. They're out there. All right? That's why the church should be filled with elders, not just one pastor. Elders, the presbyters, in plural. And when you were sick, you went to the elders. You didn't just go to one man. You see, because when we always go to one man, we set up this dynasty in our church, a monarchy in our church, okay? And what we do is we allow a man like what we just got through talking about. When he was defending himself in the pulpit, the people, if you notice when the camera panned to the audience, those people were standing and applauding. Why? Because when you fall in love with your pastor, what you've done was you got pulled into the current of manipulation, and the scriptures are very, very vividly expressing to the pastor not to lord over the people. Be careful. And we talked about that a couple of days ago about obey them that have the rule over you, and then it made a disclaimer under that. Remember I read the disclaimer about the obeying those that have a rule over you? Remember when we did that show? So you got to be careful not to put all your stock, all of your investment into one stock. Do you understand? When you do that, the stock market crashed and you lost everything. So what you do is you diversify your portfolio. Do you understand? So that's why the church have many people in there who are operating in their particular gifts. It's not just about the fivefold ministry, but when you go further, keep reading, you'll see in 1 Corinthians chapter 12 that there are diversities of gifts. One Lord, one faith, one baptism, one Spirit who gives all with all. Do you understand? So you got to give, he got to give, she got to give. All God's kids got to give. Understand? So we lean on each other's gifts for the strength of the body. Do you understand? So my hand is a part of the body. My hand is not the body. My foot is not the body. My foot is a part of the body. It is a part of a whole. Do you understand? So you cannot keep giving your allegiance to one person in that church, because that person then begin to tell you everything that you should be doing in life. They are our doctors, our lawyers, our psychologists, psychiatrists. They are our investment professionals. They tell us everything. They are our life coach, and they are everything to us. We go to the pastor for everything, and then bam, they drop the bomb on you and they go and marry your 18-year-old daughter. I keep going full circle for some reason. So that man sat up there and he shifted his sermon to talk about a homosexual on YouTube. You know who he talking about when he talked about down there in Houston. He talked about the homosexual. He talked about marriage is honorable. You understand? He couldn't answer all that other stuff, all the other accusations. Couldn't do it. And they fell for it, hook, line, sinker. And so many of us have done it as well. So you who asked that question, stay home. Be endued on high at home. Sing at home. Pray at home. Fast at home. But don't just do it by yourself. Do it with your children and your family. Have church at home until. Because you said you were looking for a church. And so I had to give you the until because you're looking. So stay home. Let the Lord speak to you. And then one day you're going to wake up and you're going to be driving down the street. And the Spirit of the Lord is going to say, stop. Right here. You're going to pull over. There's a church. Go in there and just sit and observe. And then God may say, here's your new home. That man or that woman or whoever's doing whatever they're doing in there, it's a good man. Or he'll tell you, keep driving. Keep driving. Ichabod is on that dude's. Come on. Wait, Angel say hook, lie, and sinker. Yes. Ooh, man, y'all crazy. The Bunker family is crazy. When church first began, Bishop went from house to, come on, Nathan Grant. Nathan, do it, sir. Then she started a church and, okay, I must have missed something. When somebody start off with then, I mean I missed the first part. Do you think a congregation could survive if they met only once or twice, Perry? Absolutely. Because they're supposed to survive at home. You heard of homeschooling, right? We used to thought that homeschooling was ridiculous until some of my friends who were homeschooled from birth became college graduates. Straight A's. Homeschooled. When I went to the South, when I was a young man, some of those congregations have service once a month because that pastor is the pastor over several churches in that area. And if that church is somewhere in the backwoods, they got one man over that church, and he's got other churches that's in the city. He can only make them once. He rotates. So what do they do the other 3 Sundays? They survive. They communicate. Thank God for technology. We can talk to one another on Zoom and on the telephone and conference calls and all this stuff. Man, it's a great way to gather now. Great way to gather. Yes. All right. Is grooming in the Kojic bylaw? Man, listen. There's a whole lot of stuff in that bylaws. Spiritual orgasm on Sundays. What? Kimberly, what? All right, y'all. I hope to see y'all tomorrow in class. All right. Tomorrow we are talking about Proverbs 31, the virtuous woman. Oh, how apropos. We're going to break out in our classes tomorrow. The women will be in one class, the men will be in another. I'll open up with a 15-minute homeroom teaching, and then you all would discuss for 30 minutes, and then we'll come back to homeroom and discuss. All right? So see you tomorrow. You have the syllabus. You have the Zoom address. It is the same address. So there's no need to be asking for a new address. Same address. All right? Tomorrow, gender studies. God, I thank you for your presence. I thank you for your blessings. I thank you for these people who are here. I pray for the life of this young lady, Sister Reed, who is now legally the wife of Bishop Dwight. And nothing we can do about it right now. If something was done illegally, then the government will step in and investigate, and you'll head that investigation. But as far as I'm concerned, they are legally married right now, God. And if you honor marriage, then you honor marriage in spite of the age. But I do know one thing, God, that you are God who judges, and you judge righteously. In spite of all the things I've said and even made humor about, you still are the one who judges the situation. I wipe my hands of Mr. Dwight and his wife. I'm done talking about it. I had to come live because so many people were discussing it, and they were nervous and worried and wondering where is the answer. And so this is the only reason why I decided to tackle this. Other than that, God, I was not touching this at all. I choose my battles. So here we are. Here's my conclusion. And before I take it back, I'll add more to it. It's settled law in me. Now God, step in, protect that young lady, keep her safe. In that home, in that church, and in that community. If it is true that she was reluctant to do this, yet she was strong-armed to do this, now her mindset is out of control. Her mind is all over the place. And I can only imagine when she turns on her phone and look at social media, it's like the whole world is talking about that young lady. So I pray for her mind, that she gets back, build a balance in her life as long as she's the wife of that man. I pray for her safety. That salvation rule her life, and that the Lord God, that you give her wisdom on what to say and when to be quiet. Shh. You fight her battle. Do this, O God, and we'll give your name the praise, and the glory shall be yours in Jesus' name. Amen. 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 I see y'all tomorrow, y'all. 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, 1 hour. And after that, we'll see you Thursday night, I guess, for the follow-up. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit the share button. About 450 of y'all showed up tonight. Not sure why y'all don't show up for Bible study. Y'all show up for salacious information, but y'all don't want to show up for the Bible studies. And I would think that you show up for the Bible studies so that you won't have to worry about the salaciousness and the misconduct of our preachers in the church. If you studied the Bible more, come around when we're studying the scriptures, you wouldn't have to be wondering, wow, why did this happen? You understand? See, there's a fix for all of this. There's a fix for your lust for salaciousness. If you come by when we're studying the scriptures, you'll be so equipped that when things like this happen, you won't have to be chasing for the answer, because I found the answer right at home. You understand? All right? So I knew that many of you will show up for this because of its content. Tomorrow you won't, because of its content. Take care. Bye-bye.
Well, goodbye. 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 Enjoy yourself. Goodbye. 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 Well, goodbye. 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 Goodbye.
Fellas, does it seem like you can't get a good woman? Ladies, wonder why you can't keep a man? Then read The 4 Women That Men Desire, Volume 1, by Sirwalterj to figure out how to break the cycle. Go to Amazon.com to get your copy today.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Sirwalterj Jones Show. Goodbye.